I explained how I did it from beginning to end, how I gave everybody proper notice on the other side, and I gave them fair warning if they didn't heed my notice that they were going to be, sued, and I was going to move a claim, and I was going to do it by trial by jury, and then I was going to occupy the public courthouse, and I was going to require the magistrate and the public building manager, because the public building manager is the chief judge, to inform the staff at the courthouse that I'm coming in, and I'm going to present my case in an open forum, in an open court before a trial by jury. And that's the part that I'm at right now. And like I said, I stopped sending stuff back in around July. I went down to Indiana. I did my stuff in Indiana, and now I'm worried about just taking care of me. I'm not worried about a freaking lawsuit. The lawsuit's a joke. So the only thing I got to do next on my lawsuit is I have to get the court clerk to give me the complete authenticated copy of the case file as it stands at this moment. Then I have to send that over to the building manager and said, this is what we've got going so far to date. We've got the defendant admitting the wrong, and the defendant believes that there's a technicality or a loophole in which it should be not held liable for the wrong or damages. And I'm going to tell the building manager I'm going to have to require that a trial by jury be commenced, in 14 days, 21 days, and I'm going to need to use a room, whatever room is available, any time of day, because I know the court's open 24/7, 365, and I want to make him fully aware that he knows and I know that the court is open 24 hours, 7 days a week, not 9 to 5. So I know within those 21-day window, a courtroom will be available. If not, I'll hold it out in the hallway. I don't really give a rat's ass where it's going to be held. And then I'm going to, once I do that, then I'm going to, obviously the defendant is going to be summoned to appear. They're not going to appear. And a guy, Mike, on Angela's show, explained how his attorney didn't want a default judgment, but that he read the reason why we were in court that day in open court so it could be create a record. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a record, because a default judgment doesn't create a record. The only thing it does is says that that file is still on file, but nobody ever came forth in open court and created a record. So a default judgment is a joke. And at least Mike had a decent lawyer. He was worth $50,000 to at least create a record for ownership, which is kind of silly because it's, like I said, I explained that ownership is kind of ridiculous. And the other thing that quiet title is good for, like I said, if you find a motorcycle or a car on your property, or somebody abandoned an airplane, or somebody abandoned a mobile home on your property, or you're walking through the woods one day and you find an abandoned house, and you want to make sure there is nobody who has a lien on that house, a lien on that motorcycle, or claims ownership on that car, or has a title on that car, you want to make sure that thing is free and clear, that nobody's going to be making any claim on it. That's the only thing a quiet title does. It just establishes the fact before you start dumping money into it, any sweat equity into it, fixing up the house or fixing up the car or putting it on a road, that when you get stopped by a cop with that car, that nobody could say you've been stolen, or that nobody could say that house, well, hey, just because I didn't show up for 20, 30 years doesn't mean that I still don't claim I own that house. Just because it's a rental house or a beach house or a house out here in the forest. Like I said, my neighbor, I'm be amazed if he comes to this house, beautiful house he has. I'd be amazed if he shows up one day a year. I'd be amazed. And his Christmas lights still come on every day. It's pretty funny. So just because it appears to be abandoned and nobody's living in it, if I tried to occupy it, obviously I could occupy it probably 364 days out of the year, because he only comes here maybe once a year. There's another house further up the road. I don't think anybody's been up there for years. But like I said, if I wanted to occupy it, sure, I could occupy it. I could squat in it. But if I want to actually say, you know what, I don't have to be afraid of somebody who owns this thing come knocking on this door, come walking in on me. You know what, I'm going to make a title action and see if he just abandoned it. Maybe he doesn't leave a will. Maybe nobody knows it's up here in the woods. So, yeah, that's all a quiet title is. It doesn't stop them from foreclosing on your property. It doesn't stop the lien holder from making a claim, of the lien. It doesn't stop any of that stuff. But, like I said, that's where my case is going. Is, like I said, as soon as I get better, that's all I'm going to do. Because, like I said, I'm in, I don't want to go around with these folks down there in Alabama until I'm good to travel. And I'm healthy and stuff like that. I'm not fighting these people down there and dealing with this nonsense. Because if I'm hurting down there and if I wind up anything bad happens to me down there, they're not going to run my ass to the hospital and take care of me. So I'm going to make sure I'm healthy and strong before I go down there and battle with these people. And that way, if I do get incarcerated for whatever reason, that I'll hopefully be able to make it through without saying, look, man, I really need to get to the doctor, man. I'm hurting. I've seen what they do to people in jail, say they're hurt, and they just ignore them and let them die. So that's where my case was going. If anybody, like I said, if somebody's saying, well, I'm not sure what Karl was going next with his case, that's all I'm doing. All I got to do now is press a record in an open court, and I'm done. And then once the record has been pressed in open court, and I'll tell the court clerk to file it, she'll put it on file, and then I'll either get the U.S. Marshals or the county sheriff's department down there in Montgomery to execute the order. To go in and seize property, to go levy the property. So, they'll have an opportunity to dispute the order, obviously. Just like anybody else has the ability, if somebody orders you to do something, you still have the right to say, wait a second, you ordered me? It's like, yeah, we gave you a trial, you didn't show up. It's like, well, you know what, I want a hearing, and I want to contest that order. Obviously, they're going to have the ability to try to contest the order. And that's fine. Contest the order. I don't care. And obviously, like I said, when they're going to try to contest it, who's going to show up? I'd like to still see DHR show up because I'll just show the letter to the court. This is the letter. DHR believes it has done no wrong. Now, can a doorknob believe it's done no wrong? No, it's ridiculous. So what do you mean the DHR believes it's done no wrong? What's DHR? I don't know. The lawyer said, there's some body or some creature that says it believes it's done no wrong. Oh, good, really. Come forward and say it. If not, I'm going to execute the lien on DHR, and anything that's registered to the DHR or owned by the DHR, obviously I'm going to hold the lien to. And I'm going to have the sheriff's department, just like they'd carry out any levy, go after the DHR. Like I said, the DHR, honestly, I already did a financial background check on those folks, like you folks do with that. I'm trying to remember
Dun and Bradstreet.
Dun and Bradstreet, right? And technically, the only thing they own is paper clips, letterhead paper, and toilet paper and soap. Honestly, the furniture is leased, the office space is leased, all their vehicles are leased. So technically, the DHR is really not worth anything, other than toilet paper and paper clips and staples. Everything else is basically leased. So, I could just be funny and just have the sheriff's department go in there and grab all the soap and toilet paper every day and their letterhead and there's paper clips. That's basically all I could really do. But it's just fun to actually get the judgment and get the order against them. And technically, the only thing they're going to do is what they did in 1991 in November. When they lost, they changed the name from Alabama some pension fund, something pension fund, to the Department of Human Resources. That's all they're going to do. They're going to change their name. So instead of being called the Department of Human Resources, they're going to call themselves Department of Social Services. And they're going to let DHR just die so I could go collect on a dead entity that has nothing. So that's all they're going to do to me. Like I said, the same thing they did with Vince McMahon and with WWF. All the parents sued back in the 80s and 90s for their kids breaking their necks, jumping off of beds, doing Superfly snooker moves. And Next thing you know, he loses $1 billion on court ordered. All the parents are happy. So he takes WWF, and he just puts a line under the F and makes it WWE. And the next day, he's back and running in business, and it never cost him a dime. And all those parents that won $1 billion judgment against him, so what? They didn't collect a penny. So if you folks think I'm going to collect a penny because I'm suing DHR, you guys are crazy. It has nothing to do with the money. It just has to do with beating them. That's all it has to do. It has nothing to do with walking out with $1 billion in your pocket. And that's what I said to U.S. Marshals, and they even laughed about it. They said, oh, that's too funny. I said, yeah, I'm just doing it for the principle of the thing. And they're like, okay.